think I want to tie this back now. We're talking about a lot of things here, and carbon footprint is a hot topic these days. So, love to hear from you how companies are understanding their carbon footprint and how it relates back to LCA.
Yeah, so this is obviously the topic everyone cares about, right? Carbon is the big key thing, and it is directly tied to LCA. So in LCA, as we've talked about the inventory that you're going to build in that LCI, from there, what you're going to do is take that inventory and you're going to develop a model. A model is going to happen in one of your modeling softwares for LCA. Some common ones are SimiPro, LCA for Experts, OpenLCA. And essentially, what you're doing is you're tying an ISO 1440 or 44 compliant secondary data set that's been established through industry research, through peer reviewed articles, so on and so forth, that represent some input or output. If it's steel, that's going to be a data set that represents steel, right? And you're tying the inventory that you have for any material or input or output to that data set. Once you have a built model that encompasses all of your life cycle stages, then you can use predetermined impact methodologies, and there's a number of them out there. Um, all of them for the carbon footprint aspect tie back to the IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change, their recommendations and guidelines on how to calculate carbon dioxide emissions. And so from there, you use a impact methodology to run your results using all of these background frameworks. All those background frameworks essentially just tie chemical characterization factors to different emissions. And from that is where you receive a carbon footprint, essentially a value for kilograms of carbon emitted for the functional unit of the product that you care about.
And I think that's called global warming potential is the actual impact category that people would see, but they don't really understand that. So we basically just make it simple and call it carbon footprint. And Nicole, I just had a quick question for you because I know this is a hot topic these days, and we're going to be doing a lot more of these. Product carbon footprint is something that we're seeing a lot, and I know it's related to life cycle assessment, but it's not. It's a different focus. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, and one thing I do want to stress and just make sure it's clear when we're talking carbon footprint, it is carbon footprint equivalencies. So it's like CO2, carbon dioxide equivalencies. So it is more than just carbon dioxide. We're going to be looking at all of the greenhouse gases. So, methane, nitrous oxide, all of those are culminating into one value of equivalencies, which is leading to your carbon footprint or your global warming potential. So just understanding that aspect. But yeah, product carbon footprint is now a newer evolution, I would say, of life cycle assessment. It has an additional standard related to ISO 14067. So we're just throwing a bunch of numbers at you. But with that, it is really honing in specifically looking at carbon, and we can say carbon equivalencies for a product. And I do want to also mention when we're talking carbon, decarbonization strategies, life cycle assessments should be conducted in tandem with your corporate decarbonization goals. It's not in lieu of. So just understanding there are different, thresholds when we're thinking the greenhouse gas protocol, that can be more on a corporate level, carbon reporting versus life cycle assessment, which is really specific to your products. So just understanding those differences, that they're kind of working together for an overall sustainability, like decarbonization strategy.